Hey, it's James from Marketing for Restaurants here, and welcome to episode 101 of Secret Sauce, the Restaurant Marketing Podcast. The 7 most important things in restaurant marketing success.
Some restaurants are quiet, lose money, and the owner works 70 hours a week. Other restaurants are busy, profitable, and the owners work a few hours a day. What's the difference? They have a secret sauce. Join James from Marketing for Restaurants as he helps you come up with your recipe for restaurant success. Your secret sauce.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the last episode we covered technology. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Technology changes everything, and it changes the way that you're going to run your restaurant. It changes the way that you can run your restaurant, and it changes the way that you should run your restaurant. We also talked about teams and how they are a part of your marketing strategy in a very, very fundamental way. Your story, what is it that makes you unique? We actually didn't talk about unique selling propositions. I think, it's something that you need to think about. You really need to be thinking about, though, what is your story and how are you going to tell that story? And we finished off with the menu. How are you making sure that your menu is contributing to the success of your restaurant? So we're going to kick off this episode with a discussion about innovation and creativity. And we're going to talk about it because we know that a lot of people are really interested in innovation and creativity, and B, this can be a fundamental part of the success of your restaurant. So to start off with, what is innovation and creativity? So creativity is that ability to come up with a new idea. And it doesn't really, it can be something that is earth-shattering. It can be, fairly mundane. From a creativity point, one of the things that we do as a company is we ensure that we're traveling a bit. We're on the road. We're talking to restaurant owners in different situations, in different countries, targeting different markets with different produce. That way, it's really easy to be able to come into a restaurant and say, have you tried that? And people go, wow, that's an amazing idea. Where did you get that idea from? It's like, well, it's not a new idea. It's just something that I've seen. It's something that other people are doing. At that base level, that's one of those things that you can do. Just take an idea from someone else. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a couple of ways that you can do that, though, where you can go through that creativity process. The first one is, of course, just taking two things and putting them together. And we talked a long, long time ago about the butter chicken dumpling. Now, I've had a couple of people actually say that they've been working on it. I've never actually seen the success of a butter chicken dumpling. I would love to. I would promote it widely and I would come out to try and eat it. But that is just really a bit of an example of the kind of thing that you can do that would be a little different. When it comes to creativity, that actual thinking, that bit with the that eureka moment where the idea pops into your head, you need to be doing some work around that. So you need some quiet time. You can't be continually stimulated by the restaurant or your surroundings. You need some time when you're going to have your brain just sort of idling, because your brain is going to sit there and it's going to be ticking over and it's going to be mulling over the problems that you're worried about. This is where that creativity part of it can come into it. We don't tragically mow our own lawns. We get someone in to do that. But I love to mow in the lawns because it just gave you time to think. And I think the other thing is that the loud noise of the mower, it sort of blocks everything out. You've just got a loud noise of the mower. And pushing a mower, it's not rocket science. It's pretty easy to do. And that means that your brain is just sort of sitting there doing very little work, mulling things over. And I've had some great ideas mowing the lawn. The other one, of course, that a lot of people talk about is the time in the shower. There's nothing to really think about in there. And once again, you got that noise. So that time when you're not actually thinking about things, that can be the time that your brain subconsciously is thinking about things, and then it'll pop those ideas into your head. Being exposed to different things. Massimo Bottura from Austria Francescana, he talks about going to the art gallery to get his inspiration from it. They're the kind of things that you want to be doing from a creativity point of view. The innovation is how you actually apply that. And it can be, using technology. So, and just because other people have done it doesn't mean that it isn't innovation in your restaurant, because we're not interested in restaurants, we're not interested in businesses, we're interested in your business, we're interested in your restaurant. So the innovation could be putting a POS system in, it could be getting a website for the first time, it could be putting up a specials board, it could be trying desserts, it could be trying breakfast, it could be rotating the menu through a different technique, it could be using a different supplier or different ingredients to come up with something. So the output of the innovation and creativity. And, one of the things that I don't think that we have talked about that I think it is really important is that you need to accept failure. So don't listen to this podcast and think I need to be innovative and creative. Here's my big idea. I'm going to spend, $1 million on it. What you want to do is you've got to understand that innovation and creativity is really hard. And a lot of the time people will come up with a new product and no one wants it. It's going to be a menu item that no one is interested in. That's cool. What you've got to do is make sure that you're not betting the farm on it. You're not going to go bankrupt because of this crazy idea that you've had. You want to go through, and we do this all the time with our dev work. We're always trying new features. We want to get those features out into the hands of people as quickly as possible, which means that they're never full features. They never work. We want to create that dialogue so we can see how much demand is there going to be there. Don't spend 8 weeks working on a new menu item. What you're going to want to do is maybe put it up on and I have spoken to restaurants about this who have used it. You put a dish up on the special board and you say, look, I'm sorry, that's sold out. Now, it's not because it's sold out. It's actually because of the fact that you haven't done it yet. But this is the easiest way. How many people asked for the duck souffle? I just made that up then. I don't know if it would work. Probably don't try that. But how many people have asked for the duck souffle? One part of creating a great menu item is having something that people are going to want. So, duck souffle, you put it up on the special board. Look, I'm really sorry, we don't have any of that tonight. We couldn't get any duck. And you know how many people asked for the duck souffle? Well, we actually had 12 people ask for it. Wow, that's interesting. That's some really good feedback. Now, depending on the number of people you've got in, that could be enough to give you the go-ahead to actually try some resources. Then you're going to try a duck souffle. You've got all of that work that you've got to do in the kitchen to try and get it working. Then you've got to put it out in front of customers and see what they thought about it. Innovation is that process that you're going to use to do that. And I know, have a think about the menu. Far too many restaurant owners are lazy with the menu when it comes to innovation and creativity. There's a lot more work that can be done there. I'm a great fan of it because I think the more often that you're rotating the menu through, it gives people that reason to come back to try new dishes. So you're always going to want to have your staples there. They need to be there because people who love those dishes are going to come in and they're going to be expecting them there. But you want to be thinking about what is it I can get. The people who love our cooking, we want them to come in and say, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. Now, if you're rolling out a new dish every month, you could get people who are going to come in every 6 months and turn them into people who are going to come in every month. That's powerful. There's real dollars in that kind of innovation. Now, next up is your marketing plan. Now, you do have a marketing plan, don't you? Far too many people don't, and this is one of those big problems. We've covered it before. I'm going to cover it again because it is that important, and we've definitely got a slicker process now as we're coming up with marketing plans for restaurants. But, start thinking about it from an annual point of view. What are the big days that you want to cover? Are you going to be closed for Christmas, or do you want to fill the place for Christmas? What is your Valentine's Day program? What are you going to be doing over Easter? What are the public holidays that you've got in your state, in your area? How are you going to tackle all of those? It's really easy. In Australia, we have things like, so for instance, Australia Day. It's really easy to come up with a cool and innovative and creative Australia Day dish 6 months before Australia Day. When you wake up and think, oh crap, Australia Day is tomorrow, you're going to struggle and you're probably not going to be super creative. So you want to be thinking about these things 6 months out. What are the things that you're going to be doing in your marketing plan? So who is it that you're going to target, and what is the message that you're going to put into them? Now, the next thing you want to be thinking about is, how am I going to reach out to those people? And I always like to break your market down into various groups. So we've talked about niches before. You also want to be thinking about, your customers, because you want to turn them into repeat customers. Unless you're an entirely 100% tourist business, and not very many businesses are, but there are some out there that are purely tourist, that's a different marketing problem. But if you've got your repeat customers, how often are they eating with you, and how can you increase the frequency of that? Then, of course, you want to be targeting the people who've never heard of your restaurant before. So what is the message you're going to have for them? How are you going to get them in? Are you targeting niches? What are the items on your menu that are going to make people come in? Now, I said, really importantly, what are the menu items that people are going to make them come in? It may not be the menu items that they're going to eat. You may have a front of house team that's really good at getting cross-selling, upselling them to different dishes, or it might be something that just reacquaints customers with your brand, with your restaurant, and gets them to come in. And the really good example of that is the ramen burger. So Red Robin created a ramen burger, fried ramen with the buns. And the thing that was amazing, they got so much press coverage out of it and a big, tangible spike in sales because of the ramen burger campaign. The amazing thing is they didn't sell many ramen burgers. Was it a failure? No. People came in and they thought, you know what, I'm going to go and try that ramen burger. It sounds absolutely mad. Let's get on it. And then they got in there and then they looked at the menu and it's like, you know what, I'm just going to get what I normally have at Red Robin because their burgers are pretty cool. So you want to be thinking about what is the role of the items that you've got on your menu. That's an important thing that far too many people miss. Now, we've talked about the marketing plan. You've got to really have one. You've got to flesh it out. I think we've still got the sample on the website somewhere of a blank marketing plan. Get on that. Have a think about your marketing plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Sorry, but that's just it. And we've talked about some of the data that you can be starting to expect to see that. And I think that this is the next big thing is your data. So we're working with a restaurant who has been using Frollo, the free restaurant online ordering system. They've been using it for a while. They're at over $200,000 worth of orders that they've taken. So just FYI, in Australia, Menulog charge 13%. They are $26,000 better off. Cool, hey? Now, I get really excited about that. Only kind of at the $26,000. I mean, we don't see anything of it because the free restaurant online ordering system is free, yeah? So we don't actually make a cent out of that. That's okay. It wasn't designed to make money for us. But I am excited about the fact that they're using Frollo, and that is because of the fact that they have a truckload of customer contacts. They have 1,500 people who have ordered off them in varying degrees of repetition that they can email out. They've got that email address. And this is one of the big things. So insert the order aggregators. So, your Grubhubs, your Just Eats, your Menulogs, or your delivery aggregators. So your Fedoras, Deliveroos, Uber Eats. These guys don't share their data. They don't like sharing it at all. And some businesses, and I'm thinking of Dimmy here, they'll give you the email address, but they also keep a copy. And it'd be crazy bananas to think that they're not marketing to that. You've got to think about data sovereignty for two reasons. One, you've got to keep it out of the hands of other companies, because once they know that someone likes Mexican food, they're going to be starting to target offers for other Mexican restaurants. It's a no-brainer. This is how they make their money. This is their value proposition, that they can take a restaurant that's really struggling, that's quite crappy, and they can drive a truckload of people to them. It's the bottom 10% of the market that ruins it for everyone else. They're the ones who will run the 50% off campaign. They're the ones who are prepared to do the crazy deals. They're the ones who are prepared to pay the really high margin. If you're bleeding customer contact details to those companies, then you're bleeding customer loyalty. You're not going to be able to get these customers back in any way the frequency that you would have been able if no one knew that they were ordering Mexican food from you. We see this time and time and time again. The leaking of customer data is one of the biggest causes for decreasing customer loyalty this year. And it has been a rising trend over the last 3 years. So people really need to think about that. What is their plan to keep that data out of the hands of other people? And, so you can use Frollo, the free restaurant online ordering system, or Forbes, the free online restaurant booking system, or our free restaurant gift certificate system, all of that sort of stuff, so that this data doesn't get into the hands of the email addresses don't go to other restaurants, but offers are emailed out on behalf of other restaurants. So that's the first thing. But the second thing, and this is the really, really cool thing, if you had 1,500 email addresses of people who'd eaten at your restaurant and really enjoyed the food, how hard is it to be able to send an email out? Now, if only 10% of those people, let's just say it's an online ordering deal. So let's not say a deal. You might be talking about a new menu item and just how exciting the food is in your restaurant. So we're not discounting at all. You send an offer out and only 10% of people answer it. For an Indian restaurant, you're probably looking at an average deal size of, $40. That's $6,000. Food costs 30%. So what's that? $1,800. That leaves you with $4,800 in profit. Run that once a month, and you're looking at an extra $50,000 in cash in your pocket. Boom. I know, mind blown, hey? Now, people go, that's amazing. And I say, no, it's not amazing. It's marketing. Right? This is not some sort of superpower. It's not some sort of crazy arcane right. This is what restaurants are doing now and have been doing for a very long time. It's just that because it's incredibly competitive now, more and more restaurants need to be focused on actually being able to do that. Let's stop there though. What information can you get out of your POS system? What information can you get from your credit card provider? What information can you get from Facebook? There's so much information about Facebook. You can put a post up about a new dish that you're working on. When we're going through that menu innovation thing, this is one of the things that you may not even need to actually create the dish. You can do that virtual specials board. So we're thinking of doing a pork crackling burger. So I just thought of that then. That'd be pretty epic. So the buns are pork crackling, 2 layers of pork crackling made up with a little bit of mashed potato and then you deep fry it, and that's going to be the bun. Now, what do people think about that? What do individual groups of people think about it? Can you find people who really love pork or really love bacon and drive them towards that? Is that something that's going to work? What you can do is you can run a little ad to that and target those people. And if you're picking up a click for 1 cent, I'd be thinking you need to get on this. You need to get into the kitchen and you need to start creating it because it sounds like a pretty damn good idea. It sounds like something that you've got a lot of market interest in. And if it is $1 to get someone to like that, then you'd be thinking, no, that's probably not something that we're going to run with. It's probably going to be too expensive. So have a think about all of the places where you can get data from. Some of that thing is going to be like your marketing data. It's the same, when you send an email, the headline that you've got, the heading, the subject line, how many people open up your email? That's an indication of whether they're interested in the topic or not. Lots of data out there, and one of the things that we're doing a lot of work around is getting people to understand, to be familiar with the data, looking at innovative ways of collecting data. And because you can do some pretty funky things. One of the things that you might do is an off-menu offer. So come on in and get, ask for this at the counter. It's not on the menu, but give us a wink. We'll know what you're on about, and we'll give you that. Now, straight out of your POS system, you'll know how many people have come from that campaign because they're the people who are ordering that. Simple, really simple ways of finding the data or creating data and then using that data. So have a think about that. Now, next thing, number 8 on our list of the 7 most important things in restaurant marketing success. Why is there 8? Well, because I think it's really important to under-promise and over-deliver. That's something that you should think about in your restaurant, but we'll move on. Lastly is your customers. Who are your customers? And don't give me, it's anyone within 10 miles of our restaurant, or it's people within an area that's bounded by 4 blocks from here. Don't give me that. You're just targeting everyone, and that's just really lazy. You need to be thinking a lot more about who your customer is. When I write an email, I will write it to someone specifically. So it'll be a restaurant owner who I know and respect, and I want to get a message across. And it's going to be, hey, Reddy, or hey, Mark, here's something, here's a message that I want to get out to you. I will write it to them. They are in marketing, you call them avatars. They are the people who I am writing it for. That's how I get my messaging right, because they are representative of the people, of our customers, of our prospects, of the people who are using our products. And the interesting thing is I've got multiple people in there that I think about. Some of them have different needs, wants and desires. Who are the different people with different needs, wants and desires that you've got? Who are the people who get delivery? Who are the people who get pick up? Who are the people who order your burgers? Who are the people who order your pizzas? Who are the people who order from your gluten-free? Who are your customers? And the better the job that you do of knowing who your customers are, the better the job you're going to do of marketing to them, of serving them really well, and getting them to come into the restaurant in the first place and getting them to be a repeat customer. So, of the 8 things that we've talked about, so we've talked about customers, getting data about your customers, your marketing plan, having a plan, innovation and creativity and how important that is, because that's the thing, and I think that's a really important thing because that means that you're actually moving forward and you're improving the restaurant from a fundamental part. It's not just about the food that you're improving, it's everything else. Then last week, don't forget, we had talked about the menu, your story, your team, and your technology. Now, here's number 9. We're going for broke here in the most value ever in this podcast. We're going for 9 of the top 7. The trick, I think, the people who do a really, really good job, the people who really crush this, is the people who tie it all together. So they know that they've got a group of customers who are very aggressive in wanting to try new burgers. And they know that because they know that when they introduce a new burger from their POS system, they will get a spike in that new burger. They get a revenue spike all up because they're bringing new people in, and those people are ordering their new burger. So in that, they'll then create a marketing plan. Over the next 12 months, we're going to introduce 12 new burgers. So here are the first 6, and over the next 6 months, I've got to really come up with recipes for 6 new items that we can do. Now, I've got to come up with 12 burgers. I'm going to have to innovate, and I'm going to have to be creative around that. So, who can we partner with? Are we going to do a wine and burger pairing? I don't know if that's going to work. That might not work. I'm thinking off the top of my head here, though. What is there that we can do with the bun? What is there that we can do with the sides? What is there that we can do with the meat, sauces, all of those sort of things? How are we going to cook it? Who are we going to cook it for? This is fundamentally, so this little arc that I'm going in, how we're going to try and tie all of this together, ties fundamentally into the menu. But you know that each month you're going to have that rotation out of this month's burger is going to be replaced by next month's burger. And that's going to become a part of your story, the fact that you've got a really strong burger offering. And you might have burgers that are super strong. They might displace your other regular ones. Part of your story. Now, your team, they're going to get to know burgers fundamentally. They're going to be really powerful when it comes to creating awesome burgers. And then, you go bring it back to the technology that you've got in there. You're going to use your phone to take a photo. You're going to use your phone to run the Facebook ad. Your POS system's going to give you data on just exactly how many of these burgers you're selling. If you don't have a POS system, then you really are just sort of trying to make it up. You're not going to be able to have the just-in-time kind of inventory that you need when you're running a restaurant, particularly if it's high volume. And I think we sold a lot of those Wagyu burgers today. Did you really? You might be surprised by the data. In fact, you probably would be surprised if the data. Well, I know from our point of view, when you actually look at what people are really doing, it's often very, very different to what it is that you're thinking is going on. And that happens to us quite a bit. Now, tying it all together, this creates a massive amount of complexity. And I think that we're getting now to the point where people need to be thinking about how they tie that complexity together, because it's not something that a lot of, particularly, and my favorite thing is working with independent restaurants, because that's where the passion is and that's where the power to make real change is as well. And I think if you make a restaurant that is borderline profitable and turn it into profitable, that's actually someone's life that you're affecting. It's not just more money going back into corporate. It's not more money going back into the franchisor. This is money that's going to go into a mom and pop type business, and they'll probably use that to work a little bit less. So I'm really passionate about that. But the level of complexity that is now required in the marketing space, I think, is really making it prohibitive to be able to do that. And so the biggest thing that we have learned is the fact that we need to be able to provide that outsourced marketing department. So it's something that we've resisted for a long time because I've been really passionate about skilling people up around the marketing skills, because the best person, I believe, and I still believe this, the best person to do the marketing is you guys. You're the ones with that passion, and passion comes through. You can't fake passion. When people are really excited about what it is that they do, that comes across. So last week when we talked about 7 grams, they're passionate there. They're all passionate. They're passionate about providing awesome customer service. That comes through. There's people who are passionate about burgers. That comes through. There's people who are passionate about meat. That comes through. So it's now what we're looking to do is to really help you with that level of complexity, help you come up with that marketing plan so that you are then able to focus on delivering the passion and the product that you need to be able to execute on it. And you know, I've got to say, it's been really exciting working with customers in a more in-depth role. We've been doing this for a long time. So we used to do a little bit of, we would help people with their marketing campaigns as a part of the larger website packages. But we've moved on for that, and we're now doing a dedicated marketing system for people. So, and we've got some customers who don't have websites with us. We've got some people who they bundle it up, the website and the package. And so we can often do a deal there. And then we've got our existing customers who are looking to go to that next level. The website has given them some massive advantages. And, you know, it's a lot of it is about that approach that we took with websites. So your website should be delivering you profitability. And we can look at it. You go through and you say, wow, this many people did this many people looked at this page, this many people clicked through. The accountability, it's really good to be able to deliver on that and iterate through. And it's interesting because sometimes you find things, well, the big thing that I say when it comes to restaurant marketing is that I don't know anything. In God we trust, everyone else bring data. So we're iterating around campaigns. And we've had a few initial campaigns that have been really, with some of our customers, where you could argue, and I know that a lot of marketing companies will say, oh, look at how many likes we got, or look at the engagement that we got. And Facebook's really good at showing metrics like that. But it's not about that, because you can't pay your team in likes. You can't, when you get a certain number of likes, you can't knock off early. It doesn't help you with any of those sort of things. So it's all about, you've got to be able to bring it back to that revenue. And I think this is the thing that's making a really big difference, is we're actually starting to provide restaurants with the ability to hold their marketing processes and activities accountable. That is super exciting. We're going to talk a little bit more about the restaurant marketing process and how, you know, we're actually augmenting it for it. Because once again, we can't do everything. We're not going to come in and take photos. We help with the menu design process because we've got some real strong expertise in that. But we're not going to come into the kitchen and help you with that. We're not going to take photos of the guests who you've got coming in. But we can help, you know, set up email templates. We can help train someone up in your team so that they can then send that email out on a monthly basis. And we've been getting some pretty cool results. And I know that the thing that I love is going through that process and just finding little gems of value in the story or in the menu or in the data that customers haven't thought about. And I know we've got one customer who has never sent an email but has got thousands of email addresses. And it's like, cool. This is going to make a big difference. This is going to make us some money. Well, the customer some money. That's what it's all about. So have a think about those things. We've covered a lot of territory. Have a think about your customers. You've got to be customer focused. I deliberately left that one to last because of the fact that they are, from a marketing point of view, they are the center of the world. The customers, who are they? What do they want? What can you deliver for them? How are you going to tell them about what it is that you do? That's the thing that you've got to be thinking about. The data is going to give you insights into who your customers are. Make sure you've got a marketing plan. There's no other way around it, really. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That is how it is. And when you look at the really successful restaurants from a marketing point of view, FYI, not all of them have got great food. A lot of thought has gone into their marketing plan. Now, they'll be strong in some areas, weak in others. They may deliberately not do some things, or they may deliberately do some things, but a lot of thought will have gone into it. And this is the thing, you need to be developing that process that you're putting that thought in. And look, it's not hard thinking. A lot of it's just thinking about, you know what, Australia Day is So, well, in Australia, it is 7-8 weeks away now, probably 8 weeks away. There's plenty of time to put together a really strong Australia Day offering that could drive significant numbers of customers into your restaurant. Now's the time to do it, not January 25th. That's a little bit too late. Have a think about the things that you can do new and different in your restaurant. Move the restaurant forward, whether it's the way you deal with your team, the way you deal with the food, the way you deal with your customers. Plenty of things to think about where you can be innovative and creative, and it's not a difficult process. And then, of course, there was the things that we talked about last week: menu, story, team, and technology. Lots of things that we've covered. So we'll be putting this up on Facebook. We'll run an ad to it. I'd like to know what the number one thing that you've got out of it, or what's the number one thing that you're doing? What do you think the most important success factor is in good or great? Let's not do good. Let's aim for great restaurant marketing. So there you go. If you've got something out of this, please leave a review on iTunes or let a friend know about Secret Sauce Podcast. It helps us to get the word out about the podcast and increase the number of really successful restaurants that are out there. You have a glorious week. Hopefully it's really busy for you. Bye.
Want more customers for your restaurant, cafe or takeout? Every month, our marketing tools and information are used by thousands of restaurant owners just like you to help them find more customers and turn them into repeat customers. All of our tools and information is designed specifically for restaurant owners. We know you don't have a lot of time to spend marketing or learning complicated procedures, so our tools are quick and easy to use. If you're looking to increase your revenue and profits or want to work less hours, check out marketingforrestaurants.com.